Hey everybody, season 5, episode 9 of Homeland. Ben and Alonso here on What the Flick.
Actually, we're doing 2.
Doing 2. We're doing All About Allison. That's not what it's called.
Yes.
Oh,
well done.
And the Litvinov Ruse.
Which
we can't.
I Googled it and all I found were recaps of this episode. So if it's a chess term or something, I don't know.
So the moment in the second episode, and we'll bounce around, if that's okay.
Sure.
In the most recent episode where Allison, you know, we knew she had something because she was yelling at Yvonne, you know, no, listen. And then we see the guys come in. So she had 60 seconds to sell him on something. So the moment when she's like, what the hell, Dar, you know, we've got this.
You blew my cover.
12 years. No, he's my guy. How do you think I know about troop movements in the Ukraine? So that both see and Carrie and Saul with the look of, have we misread this? Right, exactly. So I have the Homelandian reaction of, this is no way this could be pulled off for half a second, simultaneous with, ooh. Right?
I think it can be pulled off, though, because there's so much subterfuge going on, and there's so much, not even just juggling of allegiances, but cover stories and this and that it would be very plausible for a double agent to say, oh, no, I'm solidly on your side. This other person who you think is my handler is actually my mole in the other place, you know.
Right, because they don't have the documents. They don't have anything. And do you say Yvonne or Ivan?
My nephew goes by Yvonne,
okay. So he pointed out earlier that she is she's the American. She's the deepest penetration into American intelligence that Russia / the Soviet Union has ever had. So it's quite sophisticated. So they might not have stuff. They've covered up. Obviously, they've covered their tracks incredibly well.
I mean, I think what's left as a smoking gun here is the thing that Carrie has been saying all along is there's something in that document dump.
So they're going to go back in that document dump, but that means that it was already in the CIA's files, right? Because it's CIA docs. So the CIA had this information, but nobody was analyzing it in the proper way, and she was afraid that if it were all dumped that confused me also. Like, what could Allison be so afraid of if the CIA already had it? It's not like a Russian document dump when the name Allison of the Berlin station comes up. You can see why she'd want that.
Sure. Now, what do we think about Jimmy's Banana Boat or whatever the hell the bar in
Banana Joe's.
Banana Joe's.
In what, Sri Lanka? Is that right?
No, it was in like the West Indies or something.
Sri Lanka.
I mean, that just seems like a lot of coincidence there. I mean, that Carrie would remember this conversation from years earlier.
Well, it was her first meeting with a woman she's sort of been, again, as you've said before, a woman that we're supposed to believe has been there through all of this, and they do a nice job of retrofitting her in. So it was their very first meeting. Carrie essentially took her job. So you might remember that meeting, and I think you might remember it if your job was predicated on. You remember conversations.
That's
true, you make a note. And she hadn't filed, but as soon as she saw that thing, she was like, wait a minute, I've Banana Joe's, because she saw the title.
Yeah.
She was like, where have I heard Banana Joe's? And she was able to draw it. So, again, that's not going to prove anything either, because Allison could say, yeah, I told you he was my trusted asset. And I told him that Banana Joe's was awesome. I probably told him that. I don't remember, but I wouldn't have not.
It's not like I went there with him or anything.
Right. It's not like it's not so big secret that that's where I was going on vacation. I guess he thought, because he was obsessed with me, so he went there. And he took a picture and he put it on his screensaver.
Yeah.
And for this, I'm going to prison, you know.
That's your smoking gun? I'm a Russian double agent?
So it was, she got played, and so Yvonne was right to be angry because she got played in a fairly unsophisticated manner. But then she instantly recognized that. She's like, well, if I just got played in an unsophisticated manner, then maybe we can play back, because they don't have anything.
Right.
Otherwise, they wouldn't have needed to play me particularly.
Sure, they would have just grabbed her.
They could have come in, or they could have maybe. I guess there still would have been value in learning who her contact was, but obviously they didn't really know. So, but we're not done with Allison, obviously.
No, nor are we done with Quinn. who seemed to be in charge of the situation and now very much not.
Never was.
No.
Never was when he thought he was. They obviously. So it's weird that in Homeland that we would have these, because these storylines now are completely independent. Like there's no, the Russians are not involved. And this is I don't see.
True, yeah.
I don't think we're ever getting maybe they'll have an opportunity to at some point. And at some point you'd like to think Dar is going to go, haven't heard from Pete in a while. Pete's a good agent. I did have this is a problem, and it was. I think this is proven to be, especially with the comeback last season, a much stronger long-term show than 24 was, which was very exciting. Certainly the first season and even the second, but then started repeating itself. And there's only so many times that you can have your heroes face near death if they're not superheroes, and you sort of expect it, but put them in these real-world scenarios. And so the littlest guy in the room tackles him, and thankfully there's nobody standing on the right side to see him, inject the thing.
Only the camera.
Right. So I was like, but maybe it won't work.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe Peter, he could die.
He's low enough on the call sheet. I suppose.
Totally. I mean, he'd be missed, but he's now detached completely emotionally from all the main characters.
Because when you mentioned like there's no connection to the Allison storyline, it's like, oh yeah, like I was sort of mentally retracing all things. Like, oh yeah, the fact that he's involved with these people at all is the sheerest, like one of the nuttiest coincidences this show has ever tried to put over on us.
Right. The reason he's connected to them. Right. That's true. Right. So
he was at the docks. He was sick, and he was trying to save Carrie, and the guy who happens to rescue him is in a jihadist cell,
or at least right. He's he's jihadist adjacent.
Yes,
right, at a bare minimum. Yeah. So right, it started. The reason that Quinn was in a tough spot was because of the connection, because Carrie was on the kill sheet.
Yeah.
But now this other thing is just we're to believe is, and I don't see any way around it that it's not random. So I didn't really like that either. So I'm not really into the whole Quinn thing. I don't mind the individual scenes. The idea that Quinn would get himself in this situation is not implausible.
Once they got him in, they're doing interesting things with it, and he's behaving in a way that makes sense for the character.
Yes, totally.
The getting him there was a bit of a stretch.
Getting him there was a bit of a stretch, and now getting him out of it might be a stretch.
Yeah, I mean, unless there's some Hail Mary that's going to like tie all this stuff together, I don't know what that is, but we've got
I think
3 episodes left.
Three for Homeland. Again, we mentioned this in our review of The Leftovers, where there's a character there, a minor character who played a critical role that is unoffendable, which I always like in people. And somebody gets, oh, how dare you? And he's like, no, you're missing the whole point here. It's okay, I got it. And unoffendable is Dar.
Oh yeah.
Dar's like, Saul, you betrayed us. How could you care? Oh, no, you guys nailed it. Okay. All right, you're in. Let's go to work. Sorry, my bad.
Moving on.
Yeah, right. Moving on. No point carrying a grudge.
A lot of fun spy stuff, as you all.
I love
very Bourne-y, all the pursuit of Allison with the phone and the cameras, and it just kind of it reminded me how I think when you're watching the show, there's that thing of you could ask people how they feel about the surveillance state and how there's cameras everywhere and we're being monitored, blah, blah. And I think for the most part, people are against it. But then you put them in a scenario like this where like we're tracking this really dangerous person. Yeah, great. Thank goodness.
Right, totally.
Keep her on camera.
Right. Very, very interesting. And in Europe, of courst, there are cameurs everywhere. And so it's much more easier to do in Europe. Nice, I thought, in this most recent episode, the way Saul... It's also nice to see Saul doing old-fashioned spy stuff. He's got his little kit, sewing the thing into her bag. You would think that one of the things that Allison might do here is, take her cards, take her money, stop at the German equivalent of J.C. Penney. I think it's called Goebbels.
Carrie, I believe, actually.
Go into some cheap store and purge everything. Like, buy
a burner phone at least.
Right, buy a burner phone and get a bag. I would be worried about everything. Although we also know that she's a shopper, and maybe that stuff is expensive.
True.
We did learn, which is a nice little.
And there's the whole thing of I was just noticing how you have Saul sleeping with her one more time as a ruse to plant this stuff on her, and then them catching her having sex with the guy in her apartment which happens before she really understands that she's in danger. So she's just doing that.
Right, totally. That's right. That's right. So she was, and we don't know who that guy was, right?
Nope,
Yeah.
never seen him before. Not that I know of. So
Right.
yeah, so Saul's like, okay.
But I thought from a framing point of view, when Saul was doing that stuff with her bag, you know, we could see the staircase like right over his shoulder. And I thought that was incredibly effective because I thought for sure she's
going to appear.
It's just, it's nice. It's nice when they don't do it. They used it, and they didn't need to focus on it. It was blurry in the background, but I kept thinking, oh, we're going to see a leg.
Right.
It's going to be a leg. It's going to be a leg. Come on, come on. I was like, I don't even know what I want to happen. I'm not even sure. Yeah.
No, yeah. Sometimes it's, you know, it's that Hitchcock thing of like, you know, if you see the bomb, it doesn't have to go off.
That's
You're
right.
just, you know, that creates the tension. You know?
Yeah. Also, back to the leftovers, the bomb with the school bus. Like,
No.
like, oh, it's not going to go. No, no way. They can't. They can't. They can't. Get out of the scene. Get out of the scene. Stop. 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 Oh, thank God.
She's still walking. Wow!
She's walking for so long.
And they would on that show.
They
you
would.
think.
They would.
And on
They
this
could-
show too.
Right,
you
the
know.
show too, right?
You
You
wouldn't
never
put it
know what's
past them.
going to blow up. So anyway, what else? Are we leaving anything out? I don't think so.
No, I mean, you know, just the whole the Iraq flashback and you know, how getting to know Allison in the first place.
Right, getting to know Allison and her hair, peculiar in the flashback.
You thought?
I thought not of a different era.
Well, you know, it's weird that they would have another red-haired woman on the show opposite Claire Danes. Like, I don't know what the logic there was.
I guess they just thought they had the right actress, so they didn't care.
Yeah, but still, you know, I you know, they could have given her a different shade.
Or is it a suggestion that you know, she is for Saul?
Oh, his Carrie surrogate, maybe.
His
Yeah,
Carrie
yeah.
surrogate,
That's
maybe.
always a possibility.
That does make some sense.
Totally.
All right, good. But I mean, look, I think there's some weaknesses in the show, but I'm, you know, Sunday comes around, I'm still very excited.
This is a show that, you know, I think we were ready to write it off after season 3, we've said before, and these last couple seasons they've really gotten back on track.
Yeah. All right. See you next week. Thanks for watching.